So this note contains a bunch of what we see as fluff. And I want to read from my notes here. That would be like me valuing McDonald's at $50 billion and $25 billion of that being for selling tennis shoes. The fact that the SEC lets this stuff happen is kind of crazy. It's kind of ludicrous. I don't know what else to say. People need to really look negatively on this, what I see as crap analysis.
You just can't say that they're doing it because they have an investment in Tesla.
This is an opportunity to short the stock.
At $24? Are you at $24 these days? Where are you?
That's correct.
16 times. That is the difference in price targets between Gordon Johnson at $24 per share and Morgan Stanley at $400 for Tesla stock. I can't quite understand why, but everybody's favorite method actor, legitimate guy from a legitimate research firm, appears to be rather outraged by the $400 price target from Adam Jonas recently published with a massive upgrade. Tesla stock, now Morgan Stanley's top pick. Why so emotional, Gordon? If you want to see my Tesla fair valuation over the entire decade, check the link in the pinned comment to join Patreon. It's available to all supporters at all levels, and while you're there, check out the nearly 350 exclusive videos. Or if X is more your style, you can subscribe over there. Over 40 exclusive videos and counting.
Gordon Johnson, CEO, founder of GLJ Research, a notorious bear on Tesla. So your bone of contention today is all about this note from Adam Jonas from Morgan Stanley, where he obviously ups the target to $400, but talking about Dojo, the supercomputer. This could add $50 billion to company enterprise value. There's $10 trillion addressable market here. He's gung-ho like so many other people, and you are not. Why not?
Looking very much forward to hearing why Gordon, as we heard in the intro, a notorious Tesla bear, tends to disagree with this $400 price target, which, funnily enough, as the market opened and then closed the day after this new research note from Morgan Stanley was published, Tesla stock actually increased by more than Gordon Johnson's Tesla stock price target, which is $24 per share. Tesla stock itself surged over $25 per share in a single day following this note. The very fact that this guy has a price target that is less than Tesla stock itself can increase or decrease in a single day tells you either he's a genius and the entire stock market just completely doesn't understand Tesla, or his fair valuation for Tesla might possibly be absurd. Now, of course, a more cynical person might say, well, Stephen, is it possible that Gordon Johnson is just a method actor playing a Tesla bear? And I would say, well, I'm not a cynical person, so obviously not. He really believes what he's saying. So let's hear what Gordon Johnson has to say about this.
So this note contains a bunch of what we see as fluff. And I want to read from my notes here. Adam Jonas even said, and I quote,
don't know if you caught that, so we'll watch it again. I don't know if you guys remember recently, Nicole on this very network called out Gordon basically for being an absolute clown and saying things that made no fucking sense. And bro, that doesn't make, what are you talking about, bro? Also making some remarks that no matter what happens, Gordon just always seems to be bearish. Why is that, Gordon? Watch her expression as Gordon describes this research note as containing a bunch of fluff.
So this note contains a bunch of what we see as fluff. And I want to read from my notes here. Adam Jonas even said, and I quote, "We did not validate the many claims Tesla has made about Dojo's cost and performance, which was the entire basis for his upgrade." I read his note. It's not anything mathematical. It's literally management said, Elon Musk said. So when you consider that Morgan Stanley is Tesla's banker.
Tactic number one. Now watch as Gordon Johnson expertly insinuates, intimates, implies, without directly saying anything, that there's something fishy going on here, that maybe Adam Jonas is just trying to pump up the value of Tesla stock with this ridiculous research note full of fluff due to nefarious motivations. Now, is it possible? I mean, yeah, it's possible. Maybe it is. But we must observe the delicate act, the dance, as Gordon skirts around actually making an accusation, yet still manages to tar Adam Jonas, Morgan Stanley in this research note with a brush of suspicion. He knows exactly what he's doing, which is sharing his actual opinion on what's going on, because he believes what he's saying.
You consider that 60.3% of Adam Jonas's price target on Tesla is based on businesses they're not even in, businesses that don't exist. That would be like me valuing McDonald's at $50 billion and $25 billion of that being for selling tennis shoes.
Sometimes I'm rather obnoxious, and this is one of those times. I've just got to be honest here, folks. This might sound reasonable if you have a very small brain. Oh yeah, that's a good point. McDonald's doesn't make tennis shoes, but if you said they'd make tennis shoes and valued them higher, that would be the same thing. Here's a problem. McDonald's hasn't announced plans to produce tennis shoes. They haven't designed tennis shoes. They don't have tennis shoe manufacturing underway. It's not part of their overarching master plan. It doesn't tie into any other parts of their business. They haven't had teams of engineers developing these tennis shoes, nor designers. They've been hiring for the development of tennis shoes. They don't have a legitimate reason for producing tennis shoes to open a certain bottleneck. These two things are not the same. But again, you got a small brain and or you live in your mum's basement, although there may be a correlation. Actually, probably not, because some very large brains also end up living in their mum's basement for life. You might think, hey, yeah, good point. It's not yet a real business. They've only just started producing Dojo chips in June 2023, therefore you can't value it. Here's the thing. The whole purpose of investing is looking forward. The whole purpose of the research is looking forward, not telling us what's already occurring or what's happened in the past. That would be reporting. Instead, it's analyzing future opportunities. That is the whole point. This is why analysts on Wall Street have what they call price targets, which really is a fair valuation. What do they believe a stock would fairly be valued at in the future based on a bunch of assumptions that seem likely from where we are today? For example, next year, if Tesla produces X amount of vehicles, sells them for X average selling price with X gross automotive margin, what might the company be worth? That's the whole point of analysis. It's forward looking. So we can dismantle Gordon's ridiculous point from two directions at the same time. This analogy about McDonald's and tennis shoes makes no sense. It's not in their roadmap. They haven't designed it. They're not manufacturing them. Whereas Tesla, Dojo, it's actually happening. And second, the whole point of analysis is to look forward into the future at future revenues, future opportunities, future profitability, and work back from there. That is literally the point. So what Gordon says here makes no sense. But if you have a very small brain and or you hate yourself, you might think, oh, that's a good point. Dojo isn't even making billions of dollars yet. F Tesla. F Adam Jonas. So Gordon, in a few sentences, has insinuated there's some form of corruption within Morgan Stanley. This whole research note is just some random stock pump that's in the best interest of Morgan Stanley. And it's based on fluff, an illegitimate, non-existent product that doesn't make sense, that Tesla hasn't designed, that isn't already manufacturing. Try harder, Gordon.
I mean, the fact that the SEC lets this stuff happen is kind of crazy because Morgan Stanley is Tesla's banker, and they lent Elon Musk a lot of money to buy Tesla. To buy Twitter. That he's probably going to now sell some stock to pay them back for.
And again, notice the tactics here. The fact that the SEC even lets this happen doesn't describe what exactly has happened, but implies that there's something suspicious, it's breaking rules, that the Securities and Exchange Commission should be looking into, some kind of fraud, securities fraud. That's literally their job, is to prevent that. He implies that something's going on that should get the attention of the SEC, but doesn't actually describe what it is, so he can't get done for slander or libel or false allegations. But again, tars Tesla and Morgan Stanley with this brush. I'm just kidding. He definitely believes what he's saying and really wonders why the SEC isn't investigating this research note from Morgan Stanley.
But it's kind of ludicrous. And, to be quite honest, I don't know what else to say.
I think Gordon is actually being honest when he says to be honest. And what I mean is I've never heard the guy, stutter, stammer, so much. He's usually got his spiels down pat. They're quite fluent. They flow pretty well. He's a fast talker. He seems a little bit off today.
People need to really look negatively on this, what I see as crap analysis.
He's lost for words. He just called it crap analysis. I mean, I don't know what else to say either. I think he's lost for words. The best he can come up with, fluff and crap analysis.
It's amazing that, first of all, Adam Jonas's calls of $400 are not, astronomical. I mean, there are people who are even higher than that. And the supercomputer here that we're talking about, Dojo, they're comparing it to like something like what Amazon Web Services has. But I don't think it's fair to categorize and say what they're doing is a conflict of interest, like that they're, touting Tesla because they're bankers. I mean, you can't, all of Wall Street are bankers for all these companies that they report on all the time and that they put analyst reports out. I mean, you just can't say that they're doing it because they have an investment in Tesla.
Credit to Nicole. She's done it again. Called him out on air. One of the few networks still willing to have this guy on. But now, every time he says something absolutely absurd or completely out of line, he gets called out. But hey, what's the saying? Beggars can't be choosers. So I'm sure he's going to continue to appear on this network, say things that are insane, and get called out by Nicole. It's entertaining, if nothing else.
Not me saying that. Right. Consumer Reports ranks them 7 of 12 in autonomous driving technology. In 2020, they were ranked number 2.
You notice what's happening there? Gordon trying to take control of the situation here. As Nicole's calling him out, he interrupts and interjects with something completely unrelated. Consumer Reports ranks Tesla completely out of the blue, immediately just trying to, hey, look over there, let me light a fire over here that you now have to extinguish, and not actually address the point you just made about me saying something that makes no sense, is absurd, totally unreasonable, and not fair.
Guidehouse ranks them last in autonomous driving and technology. Previously, years ago, they were ranked number 1. And the real Dan O'Dowd has highlighted many times on Twitter that their FSD literally makes mistakes that drunk drivers don't make. This isn't me saying this. This is the actual experts who rate this stuff saying this. I want to say what a data scientist said. He said, while Tesla played up the Dojo broke the exaflop barrier at AI Day, implying that would make them among the most powerful compute clusters in the world, any deep learning expert laughs at this because they know that right now, Google has 9 exaflop clusters with their TPU X4, and AWS is running 6 exaflop clusters with their internal Trianium chips and 20 exaflop clusters with their H100 GPUs. The point being, Tesla is years away from being anywhere close to these guys. So for Morgan Stanley to come out and say they're close is just scientifically and mathematically incorrect. Let's talk about the quarter.
Masterful deflection. I mean, you got to hand it to the guy. He gets called out, immediately interjects, talks over Nicole, lights a fire over here, now lights a fire over here, now lights a fire over here, citing supposed experts, a bunch of different topics. He's on a rant, hasn't taken a breath, just bam, bam, bam. No chance for Nicole to respond individually to each of these points. And eventually, she's going to have to interrupt and go, Gordon, can you just shut the fuck up and just let me respond to something, please? But until then, this rant will continue. He's just going to drop as many of his talking points as he possibly can in as quick a succession as possible to light as many spot fires as possible. So Nicole has no chance of putting out any of the fires.
They're having one of the worst quarters on record. Despite massive price cuts, inventory discounting, operating margins in Q2 at 9.6%, below Toyota, Mercedes, BMW, and Stellantis, and going to drop significantly more in Q3. They're going to sell probably around 450,000 cars. That's down from last quarter for a company who's valued at like 5 times or 4 times Toyota, when Toyota sells millions of cars a year and they're selling hundreds of thousands. Look, this is ridiculous analysis. And somebody needs to just say it.
Finally, she's interrupted him.
Yeah. Look, I mean, I understand all the things you're saying, and I understand the perspective you're bringing, but at the same time,
we need to get into it.
I do, because but when you look at scale and
this company's
size,
valued at $400 billion. That's ridiculous. They sell 450,000 cars a year.
But it's
they have operating
valuation
margins
like a
that are
tech company.
collapsing. And okay, sorry.
It's like a tech company. It's like a tech company. It's not being valued like an auto company.
98%
It's not. I know, but when you think about it's a battery company, I know you're going to say they're not making their own batteries.
98% of their gross profit in Q2 was from selling cars. You and others have been saying this is a tech company for the past 5 years. Where is the tech? They're lasting.
So many times I've wanted to jump in here, but this will literally be a 4-hour, 20-minute long video if I correct everything he said. Just wanted to point out that single doozy. They're last in FSD. You guys all saw the V12 demo a couple of weeks ago. One absurd, false statement after another. Relentless. I'm pretty sure this network only has Gordon on for entertainment value, because he's very rude. And I don't mean in a rude, obnoxious YouTube persona way. I mean, like, he's rude in interacting with the network, the anchor, where he is the guest. It's like being invited to somebody's house for dinner and taking a shit on their table. He's lucky he does get invited back. So if he's not able to appear in the finance media with his absurd tirades, his captive audience of basement dwellers are no longer going to hear his latest ridiculous statement and believe it due to their confirmation bias and their projection of self-hatred outward onto Elon Musk and therefore by proxy Tesla. He's walking a fine line here. If no media outlets are willing to bring this guy on so people can laugh at him, it's going to be a lot harder to sell his very legitimate research.
FSD, they buy their batteries from other people. This Dojo computer, literally, I just explained to you, is somewhat of a joke.
They make their own batteries. They also make their own batteries. You can't say that they don't make any of their batteries.
They buy their batteries from BYD, which is a competitor. I mean,
no, but I mean, we've had on guests who talk about the batteries that they make. they also gained market share in China, which I almost can't believe it too, because there's so much competitive landscape there. But on scale and size,
their market share in China has collapsed. Who is telling you this stuff?
Yeah, but it's right here. I'm reading it right here. It says that in August it went up to 13.2% from 7.5% in July. That their market share doubled in China against the rival.
Tell you what, man, Nicole has some serious patience. First of all, Gordon claiming that Tesla doesn't make their own batteries is false. They are making the 4680 battery cells. They're also buying other batteries from other suppliers because they can't get their hands on enough cells. Gordon is outright lying here to a well-informed guest, which is rare in the finance media, so props to Nicole. She actually knows her shit and is calling him out on this. You can't say that it's not true. They are making their own batteries. Gordon comes back, they're not, they're buying, gets called out, claims that their share in China is collapsing. Again, that's false. Gets called out with some actual facts. Constantly interrupting and talking over Nicole. He knows he can't win an argument by making valid points, so again, he just non-stop rant. I tell you what, he is walking a fine line. There is a point at which he's so rude and so dishonest and so brazenly lies so many times that they just won't invite him back. Entertaining, though, this legitimate research guy is.
Let's expand. So, there are some things that are happening that are good news for Tesla.
But for you to call Tesla a tech company is just wrong.
I didn't say it's a tech company. I said it's trading like a tech company.
98% of their gross profit in Q2 came from selling cars. 75% of which was regulatory credits, which dropped 50% quarter over quarter.
Right.
And some of that was FSD.
Like
again, 98%. So if 98% of your gross profit comes from selling cars, you are a car company. You're not a tech company.
But you're not, okay, I didn't say they were, I said it's trading like a tech company. I didn't say it's a tech company, okay? That's just to clarify that. Second, they have things that are brewing that people are banking on. People are looking at, and I know you don't love it, but the supercomputer, the superchargers. How about the chargers that they're putting out? They just added more.
Natalie, how much revenue do they get from superchargers? Do you know?
Well,
do you know how much revenue they get from superchargers?
Dan Ives talked about the growth that you could see over time.
Did you know that superchargers are less than 1% of their revenues? Did you know that?
Well, they could grow. They have to grow.
But you do realize how ridiculous it is to say less than 1% of their revenues can grow, right? You understand that?
I understand, but if they get the monopoly on it and continue to grow, I don't know what the addressable market is. You have like all these other companies like Blink and all this. But
listen, Natalie. Here's the reality. Adam Jonas from Morgan Stanley knows. Hold on. Adam Jonas from Morgan Stanley knows that in 2021 he had a $535 bull case price target. His thesis was that their 30% gross margins were going to drop. Hold on, let me finish.
Yeah.
His thesis was their 30% gross margins were going to drop to 27% by 2030. They were 19% in the second quarter, and they're going to be significantly lower. He was dead.
Oh, the irony. Now, it's true. Morgan Stanley overestimated Tesla's near-term gross automotive margins. So did I, massively. What happened? Neither of us predicted a scamdemic, forced factory shutdowns, and then absolutely insane interest rate rises, the likes of which we have never seen before. In absolute terms, rates have never gone up this much, period. Automotive loans have approximately doubled in cost in the span of no time at all. There are economic concerns. None of this was predictable. Certainly, it was possible, but these are unforeseen circumstances. I couldn't in a million years have imagined the Fed, Reserve Bank in Australia and others would jack rates up so much to the point where people's mortgage repayments are approximately double what they were a year and a half, 2 years ago. That's insane. Yet here we are. As a result of this, we have more pressure on the global automotive market than there has been in probably the last 15 or so years. To counter this, Tesla's willing to sacrifice a little bit of margin to keep selling through volume. The mission plan tells us quite clearly they're aiming to get to 20 million vehicles sold per year in 2030. They're not going to slow down, whatever it takes. So to Gordon's point, yes, Morgan Stanley were dead wrong. So was I. I've had to massively, temporarily over the short term, next couple of years, reduce my estimates for Tesla gross automotive margins too. But for this guy to be calling out Adam Jonas for being dead wrong, when his fair valuation for Tesla over the last decade or so has proven to be embarrassingly wrong to the downside, can't get more ironic. Now, in fairness, there are periods of time where a company's valuation can be quite detached from what it's intrinsically worth. You might recall Tesla from 2014 to 2019, in my opinion, massively under its fair valuation. I was accumulating hand over fist, being like, are you serious? It's this cheap? Okay. Next minute, the stock market figures it out and Tesla stock skyrockets, does a 10x in about the span of a year, 18 months. But Gordon has been consistently, absurdly off the mark on his Tesla fair valuation. I mean, $24 per share today, about 1/10 of Tesla's current market cap. It makes no sense. Even in the most conservative, bearish scenario, it doesn't make sense. When you look at their profitability, their rate of growth, their revenues, it doesn't make sense. The audacity of this guy. He's been dead wrong. It's amazing.
Wrong, and he's dead wrong again. He puts out these long-term theses that prove wrong. This is an opportunity to short the stock.
Now, look, I'm not here to judge, but unless what you're into is financially bleeding from the anus to the point where you may not make it, I don't know if it's a wise idea to be shorting Tesla stock when they've just demonstrated an incredible breakthrough with end-to-end FSD, and the Detroit 3 are now being held at gunpoint by the UAW with insane demands for unsustainable, financially catastrophic worker compensation that will accelerate their demise. When VW are floundering, Toyota are floundering, Tesla's gaining market share, driving costs down, scaling faster than anyone else, blowing minds away with their incredible engineering, pulling further into the lead, now producing the Dojo chips. Don't get me wrong, anything can happen to the stock. But if I were a betting man, I think odds are shorting Tesla stock at this point is a recipe for having your financial face ripped off.
Because Dojo, listen, Natalie, to get to FSD, to have level 5 ADAS, you need LiDAR and you need high resolution radar. The computer means absolutely
LiDAR,
nothing.
right? They don't
and
use
they
that.
have neither.
Yeah.
That's it, period.
Okay. Let's just leave it there. And I will say, and I know you don't care what Elon Musk said, but he talked about the cars full self-driving, how they were driving around for days.
But he's promised FSD for 7 years. He promised FSD for 7 years and counting, and he hasn't achieved it. Okay. When do you say, okay, I'm leaving this guy anymore?
$24? Are you at $24 these days? Where are you?
That's correct.
Yep, $24 per share. That would put Tesla's market cap at approximately $75 billion. Now, maybe some context might be useful. Let's look at some companies in the vicinity, let's call it, say, $65 to $85 billion, within $10 billion either direction of what Gordon Johnson genuinely believes Tesla is worth. Palo Alto Networks, I'm sure you've all heard of them, right? The Canadian Railway Company. Boston Scientific Corporation, some household names here. EOG Resources. British American Tobacco. Here's one you'll know. Activision Blizzard. After all, loot boxes and the world's most compelling technology, comparable. Duke Energy. ABB Limited. And one final company, Waste Management Inc., who I think could possibly provide some services to Gordon Johnson to deal with the excrement that he vomits every time he's in the finance media.
All right, so I was about right. Look, I love talking with you because I think it's important for you to bring the other side. I don't know, but
can you take some time to listen to what I'm saying? Because every time you tell me this is a tech company, and every quarter more and more of their profit comes from selling cars.
I said it trades like a tech company.
Okay.
Okay. Didn't say
you realize they buy batteries from their competitors. People are not buying batteries from Tesla. You do know that. You know that.
Gordon, thank you.
Thank you.
I love when you're on.
Talk
Thank
to you,
Gordon Johnson. Till next time.
Spoiler alert, the bigger the smile, the bigger the lie from Nicole there. The irony, by the way, of Gordon telling Nicole, listen as he's interrupting her while she speaks. Tell you what, man, there will come a time where he's no longer invited back. I'd like to wrap up with a little bit of context. The gap between Gordon Johnson's $24 price target for Tesla stock and Adam Jonas's $400 price target for Tesla stock is approximately 17 times. If you're super autistic, 16.66666. That's quite a wide margin. Clearly, these two people vehemently disagree. So the question that's worth asking at this juncture is, how could they both have such a vastly differing opinion of what Tesla's really worth? One way to consider that question is, are they understanding the bigger picture, or at least trying to? Are they saying things that are truthful, or even better, make sense? Are they considering all of the aspects of the story, or at least as many relevant aspects as they can? Do they make reasonable arguments? In fact, are they reasonable, period? Are they trying their best? Are they genuinely doing what they can to try to understand the opportunity and fairly value Tesla? The answer, I personally believe, is yes, but only in one of the two cases. Let's leave it there. Athletic Greens AG1 has given me a massive, meaningful boost in energy, allowing me to do a lot more every day, including using my brain more and using my body more. I highly recommend you guys and girls check it out. Athletic Greens AG1 is an excellent way to fill in nutritional gaps. It's got 75 high-quality vitamins, minerals, and whole food source nutrients, plus prebiotics and probiotics and digestive enzymes and adaptogens to help you deal with stress. Plus, if you click the link in the pinned comment or head to drinkag1.com/SMR, you can get yourself a 1-year free supply of vitamin D3 and K2. But don't take my word for it. Here's what some of you guys and girls have to say. AG1 has changed my life. I was, as you described, treating myself like a circus, ate like trash, rarely exercised, used alcohol as a stress crutch, cannabis also. AG1 is what gave me the kick in the ass, got me back to the gym, motivated me to do more for myself, family, my business, etc. Keep doing what you do. Now, I know there's some skeptics, the same kind of people who think Elon Musk is a fraud, reading this going, what do you thought? There's no way that's possible, bro. It must be a placebo effect. Believe it or not, this is a recurring theme. If you give your body everything it needs to feel and perform its best, including having a lot more energy, you'll need ways to use that energy. For me personally, that includes more exercise, moving my body more social activity, and more cognitively demanding tasks, including producing a ton of exclusive content over on Twitter and on Patreon, plus my daily YouTube uploads. The proof's in the pudding. On to another testimonial from a viewer of this channel. SMR, you asked me to provide feedback on AG1. Here it is. It has helped with mental acuity, stamina, and intestinal waste management. Can't read between the lines. It certainly helps with regularity and digestion. That's what the digestive enzymes are for. It has also dramatically reduced my cravings for sugar. You guys need to stop eating sugar. It's fucking poison. I'm 50, 5'9", and overweight, aka a fat motherfucker. I think that's a technical term for overweight, isn't it? Is it fat motherfucker or obese? I can't remember. I average 100 hours a week in the West Texas oil fields as a safety supervisor. Jesus Christ, dude. No wonder you're struggling to keep your weight under control. 100 hours a week. Brutal. It has helped me lose weight. It is not an appetite suppressant. It can help fat people suppress cravings, and motivation to be healthier is critical for changing your diet. Love you, brother. Again, this is a great point and something people really don't seem to grasp. If you have more energy, everything becomes easier. It's like turning on easy mode for life. A few years ago, before I was taking AG1, my health was trash. I was struggling to get through the day, had afternoon fatigue. The last thing I wanted to do was either use my brain or move my body. Didn't have the energy. Now, my biggest struggle every day is figuring out ways to use that energy. I'm exercising way more, doing a lot more with my friends and family, and of course, my work output has increased substantially. And you can fact check me. Check out the average length of my videos I was posting to YouTube 3 years ago. Need I say more? And one final testimonial. Love this one. Okay, here's the deal for me with this AG1 shit. I'm 41 years old and not the type to eat, drink, smoke, or sleep healthy, so I was skeptical. That being said, here's what I experienced. Day 1, meh. Day 2, afternoon fatigue was about 45 minutes late. Day 3, 0 afternoon fatigue. Day 4, 0 afternoon fatigue plus extra energy. Day 5, again, 0 afternoon fatigue plus energy. Wondering, what the fuck, really? See, this is the thing, right? The results for many people are just almost too good to be true. This is the same experience I had. My afternoon fatigue just vanished out of nowhere. I'm like, wait, what the fuck? Why am I not tired in the afternoons anymore? Surely, it's not that AG1, is it? Turns out it was. Day 6 and 7, same thing. Day 8, same thing. Plus, I had the want to get things done around the house that I normally would slack off and not get done. Again, the point, extra energy, you'll need to use it. You'll find ways to use it. Day 9, 10, and 11, and today is day 12. I fucking love it. So however you managed to get me to buy it, I'm so glad you did. Thank you so much, SMR. It really changed me so far. Guys, this shit really works. Just try it. By the way, this is the reason I continue to relentlessly promote AG1. A lot of people get real fucking mad in the comments. Oh my God, snake oil salmon's sold out. Oh my God, he's a scammer. This is fraud. But constantly, I'm pretty sure everyone making these comments is also currently short Tesla stock. I'm not particularly concerned about people having a negative perception, those folks suffering from small brain syndrome, still living in my bum's basement syndrome, etc., writing mean comments, claiming AG1's a scam or it doesn't work. I mean, bro, when I get feedback like this is what keeps me going. And remember, there is a 90-day money-back guarantee. There's nothing to lose here. Just try this stuff for a month, and if you don't get these results, get your money back. See, it's a literal no-brainer. It's an IQ test at this point in time. Testimonial after testimonial after testimonial like this. Get your money back if it doesn't work. Just try it for a month, and if it doesn't work, get your money back. Today's the day. It's finally time. Be like this guy who was a massive skeptic, but finally, after 1,000 promotions in a row, caved in, tried AG1, and has results like this. Head to drinkag1.com/SMR or click the link in the pinned comment, and please, let me know how you're feeling in a few weeks' time. Now, if you'll excuse me, time to put my extra energy to good use. I'll be recording some more exclusive content for Patreon and my Twitter subscribers. So click the links in the pinned comment. See you over on Twitter and or Patreon. And don't forget to grab your AG1. Love ya.